this is what you're looking at, 5 to 25 productivity challenge. So we just want to get your mind around the right things to focus on to help you really achieve that big goal. And sometimes it's a lot simpler than you think. So, and when you're reaching those big goals, really trying to look at it further down the line, it can be challenging. But in order to reach the big goals, sometimes you have to get small, down to that granular level, and really focus on the daily activities and the things you can actually control instead of the results. You know, if you wake up every morning thinking, man, I don't have a deal, wake up every morning and think, oh man, I don't have a deal, that can get you down. You're running on emotion, you're not running on logic and math, right? So if you focus on what we call the leading measures, the things that you can control, you can wake up each day with a clear focus, and clarity is power, right? So we're going to chunk it down and show you how focusing on just one specific measure, though there's some stuff around that, can
Kevin,
really
you just said, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You just said so much to process and a lot of really, really good stuff. And I would like to share what stood out to me. And then if you guys want to share anything that stood out to you, because that was a lot and it was so good that you have to get small to get big. And what I heard you saying is you could wake up every morning saying to yourself, I don't have a deal today. I don't have a transaction closing today. I don't have any buyers today. And you can get caught up in emotions and not logic and not math. So when you said that, as an agent, my mind went to, what does math have to do with it? So I'm really looking forward to what you're about to bring, but also it's so important to realize that if we're leading with our emotions and not logic in this industry, we will drown, right? We have to have thick skin and not wake up thinking, today I don't have a closing. It's so important. I loved when you said that.
Yeah, so really we just want you to focus again on what you can control, and we want you to chunk it down to the simple bite-sized pieces that you can do each day. For those of you that are on here, what do you guys track, or what do you guys follow your numbers, how many people you're talking to? What do you guys do to know that you've had a successful day in real estate? Any takers?
Are you keeping notes in a notebook? Are you tracking it?
Yeah, I use my phone, like, you know how you can use the notes in your phone. And I just have a daily list of things that I need to accomplish in real estate. And then I look back at the end of the day to see if I was able to reach certain individuals, if I was able to get in, you know, like close any transactions, is something in the works, did something not fall through. And then based on the results from that, then I do my follow-up the following day, based on what I did not accomplish, or if I need to follow up with certain individuals again, because maybe I didn't get in contact with them, or they're undecisive, or we working on something, but we just haven't got to the results yet, because I'm very result oriented. So I'm glad that you guys brought up emotion versus logic, because I do get in my feelings sometimes when things don't go my way, because you want things to just happen the way you want them to happen. But I do need a better strategy. I am struggling with my strategy, so I do need a little bit more assistance with that. But that's kind of how I go about my day.
Great.
And you're not alone, because a lot of people, you know, it's hard to wake up each day and know that whatever you do that day, you're not going to see instant results, right? That it's an accumulation of your activities and your daily habits that will ultimately lead you to achieving your goal. So I just have one more question for you. You have a lead generation on that list every day?
No, actually not every day. So I'm being honest, I don't. But for the most part, I do. But I'm not going to tell you it happens on a daily basis. Okay. And then I'm a real estate broker for Georgia. So I do get leads from them too. Like they send me daily leads as well. So I kind of like toggle back and forth based on, you know, the need, or, you know, based on, I actually sometimes based on how I feel, because sometimes when you don't feel the best, you're not going to yield the best results. So I try to do things that I know I'm gonna be passionate about that day. And then I'll tabletop some of the things that may not be as important. Like it's not a priority, but it is something I need to get done, because every day you don't feel like doing the same exact thing. Like sometimes I don't want a cold call. So if I'm not in a good mood, I don't do it. So
We're all guilty of that.
Yeah. So, what if I were to tell you this? The one thing that you could focus on to change your entire business was to have 5 conversations a day. If it would be simple as that. So again, we want to break it down to the smallest amount, and we could get deep into like how ways and different lead generation sources to have all these conversations. But that is something that's for another course and is different to each person, but we will touch on it later.
We do have a lot of stuff in the toolkit for that. So if you need to like, spark some energy or get some ideas about lead generation or who to call, we have a lot in the toolkit. We can lead you in the right direction for that.
And I'm going to show you a couple
yeah, that's what I need
specific
help
things.
with. Yeah, and I'm online now looking at it while we're talking, so I see the toolkit.
Good.
But yeah, I need help with that part. Yeah, trying to figure out how to what should I be doing with the leads each day. That's not my strong suit.
Open up that lead gen memory jogger.
Okay.
Kevin, 5 conversations a day.
Yeah.
Are you talking just any conversation with anybody?
No, I am talking about real estate specific conversations where you're not talking at someone about real estate, you're talking with someone about real estate. And it's people that you are not already in a contract with.
Okay, so I
Outside of
can't
that,
just call my current buyers who already have a contract and talk to them about their home inspection.
Correct, that's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Unless they refer you to someone else, and maybe that can count. So maybe there's a gray area in there as well,
Okay,
right?
that's
So
fair.
I'm backing off on my strict policy here, but all I want you to do is engage people naturally and talk about real estate 5 times a day. We have a little slogan. We say real estate is a contact sport, right? So get your jersey dirty. Little play on words, but if you're not talking to people, you're not developing relationships, it's going to be a lot harder for you to come up with some deals. So this number, 5 conversations a day, is based on math, as we said. And this is a simple way to get a game plan so that when you wake up each morning, you know what you need to do, right? And if it's simple, but it's not always easy, right? As you said, emotion, the way you're feeling that day can get involved. So it's just something you got to really stick with, and consistency is key, right? We'll get into that a little bit later too. So as far as the locker room goes, we kind of track the numbers of the agents that are involved. And early on in the career especially, there tends to be about a 50-to-1 ratio of real estate conversation to close business at some point in the future, right? And that breaks down to about 2% of the conversations that you have. Let me see. So we're going to do the math around that to see how this can change. But some themes you will see in here is just consistency, repetition, and dedication, right? Because this is something like any other skill. You're not going to be awesome at it the first day. You're going to get better as you go on. And just like working out, you're not going to go to the gym for 7 hours on Sunday and then take 6 days off if you want to see results. You just got to set time away each day to be consistent and watch a cumulative effect. That can take, 90 days, sometimes before you see the results for.
So I shouldn't call 100 people and have 100 conversations and assume that I'm good for 20 days.
No, because you got to follow up with those people, Are you?
I like it. I like it, Kevin. I like how you use the gym analogy.
Good.
You don't go to the gym for 7 hours and then just be good for the week.
I'm going to come out of this because we have a little, formula here. So what's cool, I altered this a little bit, but this is actually in the Locker Room University. We have a what if productivity challenge. So when we're coming out of here, you can find the same thing and play around with it yourself, right? So I just have some numbers in here from something else I was doing. But what is the average sales price for you guys?
Just anybody could just volunteer. What would you say off the
Doesn't
cuff?
have to be super accurate, just a general number.
The average, you said the average sale price?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe about 200,000.
Okay.
I may be lying. Somebody else better, somebody got to help me on that one.
That's okay.
That's
a good place
fine.
to
We'll just,
start.
yeah. What is your average commission split? Is it around 2.5?
Yeah, 2.5, 3. Yep.
Okay, cool. We'll go on the low end just because that's easier, and then there's always room to grow from there. So I did some assumptions just on fees and that sort of thing, insurance, all that stuff. So this is more towards the higher end when we get to the 5 conversations a day that we're going to have, but I'll just leave this here just for simplicity's sake. What'd I do? There it is. All right. So as I said, I just want to show you how this can accumulate, and that daily, that repetition, that constant decision to wake up and have those conversations every day can accumulate and help you reach your goal, right? So let's say you have.
Oh, hold on a
let's
minute.
start
Can I
out,
look at, wait. I want to analyze this for a minute because I'm such a nerd. I have to nerd out on this. If you're making 1 contact every day for 5 days a week, this is a 2% conversion rate. So you're saying 2% of the people that I talk to would convert into business.
1 out of 50.
1 out of 50. So if I'm only making 1 contact a day, that's really only what? How many contacts per year? 250?
150.
And I'm making,
So
if I'm only converting 1 out of 50, right? So our average conversion rate, I would say, is typically a lot more than 2%, right?
Well, this is our first day at the gym, right? So we're not putting all the weight on the bar. We're not in the best shape yet, to stick with that analogy. So we got to work on our skills. We got to up our strength, all that stuff. This is just starting out, right?
All right. I'll go with it. I like
1
it.
conversation a day. And then after, your gross commission is 25 grand just from having 1 conversation a day. Of course, that's not what matters at the end of the day. It's what you take home. So after any kind of fees, that sort of thing, you're down to, and this would probably change you as well, but 9,000, and that's with a 30% tax rate. If you have the right accountant, that could probably be a lot lower. So shop around. So that's where we're starting, right? But let's just double that. So we'll go right up to, you get in the groove, you start a little more confident, you're a little more comfortable talking about real estate. And then by just changing it, right now you're up to 19,000 a day. Going crazy again here and double that. Oops, that's a lot. So then you're at 40,000. And I guess you guys can see as we go up all the way. So $50,000, and that's having 5 conversations a day about real estate. And that's at your lowest form. I guarantee your conversations in the first month of doing this aren't going to be nearly as engaging, enjoyable, and, get you where you want to be. But as you get used to it, you're talking to people all the time, it becomes second nature. Let's say you even start converting 1% more, 3% of these. Then you're at 77,000.
Holy cow.
So really the big takeaway here is consistency, right? Consistency not only make sure you do it every day, but while you're doing it, you're enhancing your skills, you're getting better, and the ball just keeps rolling, keeps accumulating.
What happens if you bump up that conversion rate to 4%? That's over 100 grand.
And that's take home, right? So that's not even your gross commission.
Right. This is assuming a broker split of what is that broker split right there?
That's 60-40. So
60-40.
General split. So.
30% coming out in taxes, right? And at an average sale price of 200,000. So, and commission split, bump that to 3%. What happens? $125,000 to have 5 conversations with people every day.
So is anyone tracking these sort of numbers, their conversations, their conversion rates, that sort of thing?
Yes, I do.
You do? And what are
Yeah.
what benefits do you find from doing that?
Well, it kind of lets me understand where I'm at as far as my own pitch. Um, like I feel like if I go along with the regular sales, conversion rate as far as like, 1 per 10, contacts and so on and so forth, I can, kind of get a general idea of what I'm able to, like, where I'm at as far as, talking to people and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when you wake up in the morning, you have clarity. You're not just like, what am I going to do today, right?
Right, right. Like it's more or less like, okay, I know if I talk to 30 people today, then I know I'm gonna, at least make 30 phone calls. I'm sorry. If I make 30 phone calls, I know I'm gonna talk to at least 3 people, and out of those 3 people, I'll probably be able to, make something happen or have some type of progress with at least one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So I'm going to come back to our presentation here. So just kind of the takeaways from this, and we'll go through this a little bit. So this is just the math. So does someone have a calculator out right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I think, what was it for the lowest conversion rate? Let's go back here. 2%. You're having 5 contacts a day. There you go. So that's 61,470. Divide that by $1,250. Or
So
$1,250, I'm sorry.
Conversations.
Yeah.
What was that? 61,278?
Yeah, that's close enough, yeah. Divided by 1,250.
1,250. Oh, okay, 61,278 divided by 1,250. That's 49. 49.02.
Okay, so what does that number represent?
Dollars per phone call.
Yeah, so if you broke it down and look at it with that perspective, that every time you have a real estate conversation, you're going to have 49 bucks in your pocket. Would that motivate you to have more conversations?
Yeah, when you look at it like that.
Yeah, right? It's like, okay, you're going to pay me $49 to talk to someone about something I love to do, right?
That you want to talk about anyway, right?
Yeah. It's just finding those conversations.
So, and I think this brings up an even more general question, are you having enough conversations every day? Can everyone say yes to that? Or is everyone having at least 5 conversations a day?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Yeah, no for me too.
Okay. So does having one simple thing that you can control kind of give you some clarity and kind of take that bit of overwhelm out of reaching that goal?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love you. I love you. Yeah. So here's what I want to know. If you open up your contact list on your phone, I think I did this with Elijah. If you open up your contact list and you go all the way to the bottom, it'll tell you how many contacts you have inside your phone, right? Can you look and see? And someone tell me how many contacts they have. I have 5,100 contacts in my phone. That's ridiculous.
That's quite a bit.
That's a lot, right? I mean, do you think I could have 5 conversations real estate related for like the next year and a half, probably just with contacts from my phone?
Yes.
How
Well,
many do you
sometimes,
have, Stephanie?
I'm just trying to get to the bottom here. Oh, wow.
I got 567, so I ain't even working with nothing.
Hey, that's a good start.
I do a lot of spring cleaning in my phone.
So I'm down to 267.
Oh, good. Okay. But this is good because you can have more intentional conversations then. You're not just zipping through. I haven't cleaned mine probably in years. Cleaned up my contact list. But you
And
go
how
through
many
your
of those
contacts.
are numbers for Grubhub and
DoorDash.
all the other delivery services. Kristen orders in every night. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Oh gosh.
I
All
don't know.
right, anyway.
I'm seeing
back to
some
what-
names that didn't convert. I need to call those folks.
Okay. See?
That's
And
like
you
one,
know-
two.
If you have past clients in there too, or even current clients, you call them and ask them for a referral. They want to help. They want to help.
Now's a good time of year. You got an obvious conversation. You ready for 2021? How was 2020? Are you glad you're in your home? You know? All right. So this is just a little overview. Then we'll get into some of the tools and that sort of thing. So what is the recipe for success? You know, I think we kind of really hammered this home, but it's really focusing on the activities and not the results, you know. And it's time on task over time. That's just being consistent, you know, showing up every day and deciding to call and talk to 5 people, call, text, however you want to do it, have 5 conversations a day. If you look at the stats from the National Association of Realtors, if you do this with a 2% conversion rate, you'll be in like the top 3 to 5% of realtors in the country. Just by
Yeah,
having 5
nobody
jobs.
wants to do it. You know what? We, as humans, I think we crave variety, right? We don't want to take the time on task over time. It's TOT, right? That's the TOTOT, time on task over time. And so in my mind, like, I get bored. I have the attention span of a flea. It's so simple though. Have 5 real estate conversations. So if you were an agent who said to me, okay, you need to lead generate for 3 hours every morning from 8 to 11, call those FSBOs. I'm so bored. Maybe it works for some people, doesn't work for me, but it's time on task over time. We make it more complicated than it is. It's doing the same thing over and over and over. And not getting bored, because we have to focus on the results, right?
And would you be okay with a little boredom if it put you in the top 3% of realtors, if it was a system that worked, right?
Yeah.
And you knew the results were going to be there? I'll be bored for a little bit. Chances are I'm going to be bored at some point during the day anyway. I might as well make some money off it, right?
How did you
Right.
make $124,000 this year? Oh, just being bored. Just every morning, making sure I do the boring thing, right?
Right.
So, and then that goes to prioritization, right? There's the 3 F's. There's freedom, flexibility, and financial freedom for real estate, right? Are you prioritizing which F? Is it freedom and flexibility, or is it working for financial freedom? And sometimes that structure and that system is actually more freeing than kind of winging it and going off of emotion. So, and here's the last one, right? Nobody gave you a job description. Elijah doesn't call you in the morning, see what you're going to do that day, right?
Yeah,
So
you're
you
not
determine
clocking in
your
and
job description. It's up to you. What's it going to be? Is it going to be showing up? Is it going to be talking to 5 people a day, or is it going to be sitting there with your fingers crossed, right? So,
Hoping the phone rings. I hope my phone rings today.
so it is simple, but it's not easy, right? You know, as we've talked about before, the emotion, everything can make it harder some days. But, you know, hey, if you need to take a day off, you can always double it up and have 8 conversations the next day and 7 the one after that, and you're still hitting your numbers, right? So track your numbers, really, and then time block and protect that time. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist, and you're gonna get pulled away from it. And then create a boring plan that works. I'm just kidding. You can find, I'm going to show you something in the next slide that kind of will help you find ways of lead generation and having these conversations that might work better for you. So as she said, we have a lot of tools. We have a ton of stuff, everything you really need to really build your real estate business and treat it as a business. If you want the all-in-one package, and our track program is the way to go, you can find the courses in the university. You can
This
also
is free
find
for you guys because Elijah and Vedi partner with us. So you have this inside of Track. If you go to the university, click on Track, we actually have an activity tracker for you that you can print out and just check it off as you go. You're making 5 phone calls a day, check it off. You might even get that in the what if productivity. Is it called what if productivity challenge, something like that. There might be a tracker in there too, but also just in your toolkit, we have the core success tracker where you can track your numbers every single day if you want to. So lots of different ways to track.
So if you're, if you want to get warmed up and do everything we've been talking about, that's going to lend perfectly to track, because what track will actually have you do is contact 10 people a day or have 10 conversations a day. What I do here, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. 124,000.
Yeah. So even with that with the lowest end of the conversion rate, that'll get you to 124,000. And if you get better at it and get up to those higher conversion rates we've been talking about, that number looks pretty good to me.
This is for $200,000 sale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of houses, but you'll be busy. Leverage. All right. So I got a few other things to show you here. And then we have the agent action plan. If you're not ready to be all in for track yet, this is just a solid business plan. It takes you through your financial goals, but it also looks at a more personal side of it and helps you develop your value proposition and get clarity around what you offer and why people should choose you as a realtor. And this is what we were talking about before. So these are both. So if the big picture is track is all encompassing, the agent action plan is actually in week 1 of track. So either way, you got to set that foundation. And these are 2 tools that we have within the agent action plan and track. So who's familiar with a DISC assessment or DISC personality types? Elijah raised his hand. Kristen raised her hand. I don't have everyone's. So if you haven't, I think it's something worth looking into. There are some free assessments you can get, Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you find a free one? Is it
I just Google search free DISC assessment, and there's several that come up.
So what it does is it helps you kind of get clarity around what type of person you are. Of course, we're all individuals and we vary a little bit and can have a little bit of each of these. But it gives you not only clarity around who you are, but also your clients. And when you have an understanding of who you're talking to, that conversion rate will improve, the conversations will improve. But what you're looking at on the left is lead generation strategies that tend to fit within each personality type. So once you even do a little research, you might be able to kind of figure out what personality type you are. And that can lead you to find 2 or 3 ways of lead generating that aren't as boring as we were talking about. That's something you wouldn't mind doing every day, because we want you to enjoy your career, right? In all aspects. And then
this is helpful. Sorry, Kev. This is helpful as an agent. I will say that there is one transaction that I had in my career as an agent that I will never forget. I'm a very high I on the DISC behavior scale. And what that means is that I'm outgoing and I like people to like me and I'm warm and friendly, and it's all about personal connection, right? So I had a client though who was so analytical. I mean, overanalyzed everything I said, took everything very literally, and we just did not connect. And at the time, I didn't have any knowledge of DISC profiles, or I mean, that everyone has a different personality, but I was like, I can't stand these people. I cannot wait until I'm done with this transaction, right? But looking back, if I had understood, this guy's just a high S and high C, and so this is what he needs in order to feel comfortable. He doesn't need the warm, fuzzy hugs, high fives from Kristen, like, this is all good, it's gonna be okay. He doesn't need that. He needs, how does this work? How much is my monthly payment going to be? Blah, 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 all the things. That's what he needed. And we would have gone along just fine, and it wouldn't have been stressful for me because I would have understood this is how he operates. So if you don't, the DISC, I mean, there's a lot of different personality profile assessments out there. The DISC to me is just like the most simple one to understand. There's only 4 categories. They're very self-explanatory. We have a lot inside the toolkit on that as well. We didn't come up with that. It's just something it's easy to be able to understand everyone you work with at just a higher level.
And then once you figure out some strategies, you can really amp that up with our ROI that you see on the right. It's really a game plan to reach your goal as far as money and with lead generation. So there's 3 columns. Relationships is just building relationships, nurturing those relationships for long-term business, and creating the kind of relationship that will lead to referrals. Then the opportunity, so low-hanging fruit, that could be FSBOs, expireds, there's a bunch of different options there. And then investment. So investment can mean either time or money. If you're just starting out and you don't have money, it's probably better to have it take more time, right? So all these tools are in the Agent Action Plan or in our track program. But as far as what you guys can do to help each other is just hold each other accountable. We call it accountability buddies, but basically find a partner, someone you can check in with a text each day, say, hey, did you call 5 people? It's a lot easier to let yourself down than it is to let someone else down, right? So that accountability really goes a long way in keeping your motivation up and your activity level. And then have a scoreboard. That just goes back to tracking your numbers. Once you know what those numbers are that you want to follow, create a scoreboard and make sure you're doing it. As Kristen said before, we have tracking software at tlrcore.com.
Also, you guys, if you're not a part of the Locker Room Nation Facebook group, join that, because there's always somebody posting in there that they want an accountability buddy. You know, they want a script practice partner, they need someone to role play with. You can always ask for someone to just, if you need an accountability buddy, just throw something up in there and people will respond. It's a really, really collaborative group.
I'm just going to pull up the course that accompanies our presentation today. So if you're in the Locker Room University, you go to the dashboard. If you just type in what if, I believe it shows up. And now that we're in core, if you go to Success Tracker, well, first you'd have to put all your goals up in here. It's really easy. And you go to Success Tracker, you can enter all your data and start putting in your contacts and everything each day. And that'll do all the math for you.
Does it save it too, and you can just keep adding to it, or do you change the date every day? Okay.
Yep, you can save it every day. I'm glad you guys joined us today.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for taking the time to be able to share this information with us, giving us a game plan and a roadmap to be able to do something small than just talking to 5 people, and potentially have the opportunity to be able to realize a 6-figure income from real estate, even if you're doing it part-time. Because if you think about it, how many of us do something full-time and have 5 conversations about something that mean nothing?
Right.
Versus conversations that mean something to someone that's going to be a great benefit, and over a period of time, you benefit from it just by being able to share knowledge, experience, and understanding of how to do something in real estate. So that's a great thing. So we appreciate the small bit, but yet a large bit that you offered to us today, as well as the team to be able to help us realize some of those financial goals that we might have going into this new year. So thank you very much for that.
Yes, thank you.